The first step is what's called unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Then all of a sudden, like, how many of you guys remember it was 2016, 17, maybe 18, you started hearing about this company called EXP. Raise your hand. You started hearing about this company. You know how I reacted to EXP? That's dumb. It will never work. There's no way a company's going to work off revenue share. Then all of a sudden, here we are in 2024. They got over 90,000, approaching 100,000 agents. Not only does it work, they've revolutionized the entire industry. Raise your hand if this is making sense. So there's this stage that all of a sudden we go to the second part of the cycle, which is conscious incompetence, where you become aware what's just not working. At some level, if you're not there yet, you will begin to be aware that you don't want to do the pace you're doing of transacting real estate till you're 75 years of age. Like, make the sound of what it would feel like to have to go on a listing appointment till you're 95. What would that sound like? What would that sound like, gang? Ooh. Thank you for my team with that one. But what you have to begin to do is make an adjustment. One of the ways you begin to adjustment is expand the threshold of control, which you guys and gals are doing right now, which takes us to the third level or the third phase of the cycle, which is conscious competence, where you start to understand what the system is, but it's not in your nervous system yet. This is why I also believe the millennial generation is known as the hero generation, in the sense of, I was born into technology. If anyone remembers the 90s, NBA basketball was the greatest sport alive, and Nintendo NBA Jam, that was killer. I grew up with that in my hand, whereas my dad, he didn't. It's a different generation. So it was easier for me to adapt as technology goes on. How many guys are with me here? But part of what it is required, thank you, part of what is required is that we have to get conscious competence. We have to learn the system. And the secret to this is not hard work. That's what's been put into your system. How many of you guys have heard, raise your hand, the secret to success is hard work? In fact, we've seen it on social media for years now. Hustle and grind. Hustle and grind. I just got to be honest with you, gang. That sounds exhausting to me. That sounds tiring and overwhelming. So what has to happen is not hard work. It's my willingness to do what my nervous system does not feel like doing. My nervous system feels like doing the smaller comfort zone, the smaller threshold of control, what I don't know that I don't know. So it takes a massive expansion to new problems and new opportunities once I learn a new system and start to get consciously competent. Is this making sense? Wave your hand on the screen if this is adding up. You're following along with me. Thank you so much. Now, the fourth level that we want to get to when it comes to the cycles of consciousness with inside of agent attraction is what's called unconscious competence. Now, how many of you guys have noticed that I'm pretty good at what I do? Raise your hand if you've noticed. I'm great at speaking, I'm great at training, I'm great at marketing, I'm great at getting my brand out there, I've got the results for agent attraction. But guess what? I started making money in this industry in 2014, meaning the agent economy. That's 10 years now, and each year that builds off, that creates what's called unconscious competence. Some of you are still at the conscious incompetence level. This is just coming onto your mind, okay? Some of you are at the conscious competence level right now where you're starting to do the work. How many of you guys are following along with what I'm saying here? Is this good or good? Yes? Awesome. So we got a few more minutes before we wrap up. I want to give you 1 minute to go ahead and write down your biggest takeaway from this segment. You got 1 minute and go.